Namaste, Galactic family. Welcome back to the channel, Indigo Angel. Come on into this dimension, you guys. And I hope that you enjoyed the new intro on the way in the door. So for those of you that are new to my channel, you may not recognize that that is a new intro, but those of you who have been with me for a while, you know that this is a new intro and it's got a nice vibe. It's got a nice retro wave type of style. I really like it. It's got a nice compilation of all of the things that I've done over the last few years. And so if you guys like it as much as I do, put a like on this video today, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notifications bell so you can continue to receive these messages. You know that your girl Indigo Angel is bringing you as much hot up-to-date intel as I possibly can on the grids all the time. This is what we live for, is this grid work. So you know I'm going in, and we're going to be talking all about the man-made Stargate CERN. This is going to be a cosmic grid update on CERN, and we're going to be looking at all of the grid energy networks and mechanics of this Stargate on my Scribbles maps. So shout out to scribblesmaps.com. You know, I use them for all of my grid charting and things like this, and it works wonderfully. Also, you guys just seen me putting all of my books away in the background, so you know that I use all of my resources that I possibly could find for this one today. So all of my resources will also be down in the description of this video today if you want to check out the things that I looked at to come to a lot of the conclusions that I've been coming to when it comes to this man-made Stargate. Also, I want to let you guys know that I will also probably be doing a remote view on CERN as well at some point. Yes, because everything that I'm already doing with this cosmic grid update is leading me deeper into remote view, deeper into psychic intel. And so it just makes sense that I naturally kind of go in that direction in terms of content creation. So if you guys want to see me do a remote view on this facility, comment down below and I will pull up my Scribbles map in just a second. But in the meantime, guys, I am going to just take a quick sip of my tea from my Indigo Angel mug that you can find down below in my Teespring store if you're interested in a mug, an Indigo Angel mug. But essentially, I got my vanilla caramel chai tea to drink today, and it's amazing. Because you know how I be getting thirsty on these deep dives. This is going to be a long video today, so I will also put time markers down below in the description as well, so that way you can jump around to important aspects of this information and intel without necessarily having to listen to all of my blah, blah, blah. Where I want to go first is into the current magnetic field. Okay, so what I have been seeing is we are going through a major recalibration of the magnetic grid. This is what I'm seeing is all of the planetary lower chakras. Okay, so planetary root chakra, Mount Shasta, planetary sacral chakra, Machu Picchu, planetary solar plexus chakra, Lake Titicaca. Okay, all of these planetary centers are reorganizing. They're also becoming more dense, okay? More accumulative of the auric field of the planet, more accumulative of the recalibration from the magnetosphere and all of the permeability within that. So everything's reorganizing to the higher dimensional fields. And also these chakras are opening up a lot more. So bringing forth a lot of matters into the matter body of the 1, 2, and the 3D. I've been guided to put a lot of emphasis on this because of where we are at astrologically speaking. During the month of August, we are in Hydra season. We are in Regulus alignments. We are in Leo alignment. So where we are at is at the high time for the magnetic peak cycle. Okay. And so this is what makes the Lion's Gate so powerful, you guys, is as we go through this gate, right? Today is August 7th. So we're going through the gateway tomorrow. We already feel the increasing emphasis and the acceleration, the particle acceleration. particle accelerators, right? Amping us up to the Lion's Gate energy. So it's very, very powerful. This is when we are most magnetic. And I think we will really see the most pull of that magnetic energy going through tomorrow and through August 15th. So we're going to be at the highest magnetic peak during those days. I see it as we are standing in the eye of the magnetic storm. We are standing in the eye of the magnetic force field transmission. So this is really, really a lot comes through this. It always does. I've been feeling this increase of magnetism every single year. At this time, it's always increasing in potency. And I really feel like that has a lot to do with the damage in the magnetic field and the magnetic grid. But I'm not going to go completely into that. Keeping this positive here, guys. But we are increasing in the potency of that magnetic field charge. And so how I have been seeing this is I can actually see magnetism in the air. I can feel it in my breath. Okay. My sense of the field, the value of the field of the magnetic field in the air is changing. My words are more magnetically charged. My breath is magnetically charged. The atmospheric and auric bodies of the earth and the biology are magnetically charged. So everything right now verbal, okay? Everything verbal, words, verbal suggestions, verbal cues, evaluations, conversations, sharing, relationships, companionships, everything, communication, everything is really, really heightened. So right now, words, for those of you that are able to lift the density and rise higher, these words can take you into ecstasy. These words can take you into celestial cosmic bliss. These words can take you into euphoria, euphoric feelings right now. Or they can go completely in the pendulum swing, the polarity, and they can slice your butt right in half, right in the middle, and these words will sting. Okay, a lot of stinging right now because of sensitivity, because of that charged field and our triggers, our wounds, our traumas, right? So it will go right to the core of a lot of those things right now and expose everything that is held within the density of the magnetic field. What is magnetically charged and held within your lower chakra field right now is basically what is clearing, moving, charging, also stinging when we get those words. So right now, gentle communication is so important. Everything in the field is highly amplified, and it's so important to understand the fundamentals about the magnetic core. It is actually the most important aspect of our existence. And that's a lot to really say, right? The magnetic core field is the most important of our existence, and also understanding that. And I think that's what needs to be defined more, is this diversity of our magnetic field. Okay, so I'm going to actually show you a picture really quick that I need to actually upload to my computer from my phone because I wasn't prepared with this picture, but I just feel like it's going to add something to this explanation right now. So give me just a second. Okay, guys, so thank you for your patience. And this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the magnetic field. So this isn't actually the best picture that I wanted. I just can't find the other picture. You know how you find things and then you lose them? So what I'm trying to explain is that the magnetic field is in layers. Okay, and this internal layer, now this actually is comprised or composed of 3 different layers. The first layer actually holds the magnetos encasing for the first, second, and third dimension, that's all kind of one field permeating from the first magnetic encasing, okay? This is the most powerful, okay? This is the strongest part of the magnetosphere, okay? And that is recalibrating right now, like I said, from the first, second, and third dimensional energy vortexes in the planet. Then we have a second layer. So this isn't defined in this picture that well because it's showing multiple rings. But if we could actually lay this out on a grid, there would be 3 major fields or 3 major components to the magnetic field. The second layer would be comprised within the higher chakras, so 4th, 5th, and 6th dimensional chakras. Heart chakra consciousness most predominantly rules that magnetic field. And then you have the outer casing, which is representative of the torus field of the biology. Okay, so this isn't technically the best picture to show you that, which I'm going to find a better picture at some point. But this defines how there are layers to the magnetic field. There's layers to the magnetic grid, and it is the highest magnetic material, and it consecrates all dimensions because the magnetic core field itself is dimensionless. The permeability of it confines everything in all of the magnetic grid fields. Okay, and it is what is changing. It is what is taking place inside the Earth's atmospheric field and also the auric field levels. And that's how you can see the changes. That's how you can see the reflective health and qualities of the magnetic field, looking at the core energies of the stargates. Okay, all of this seems to reflect the auric field, the aurora borealis, all of these things, right? So when this is shifting, when this is changing, you know, the magnetic core is also doing the same. These auric fields that permeate from the magnetic grid templating, whether that's in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd layer, the higher layer, the middle layer, and then ultimately the encasing layer of that. What it is it's connecting to the encoding of the design of the Earth's holographic divine blueprint. So this is all connecting into the aurora passageways, the aurora borealis passageways. This is connecting into the Palladorium passageways, the Ark of the Covenant passageways. It's connecting into all of the Sophianic dragon templating, the mother arcing systems. It is technically what builds the rainbow bridges to source. Okay, and so it's creation genesis, and it's all within our magnetic field. But a lot of this is changing and shifting in this space, especially when I look into the stargates. I can see a lot of transformation happening here. I'm also seeing a lot of changes that are shifting when it comes to integrating pulse waves more frequently from celestial or radial or nuclear systems, okay, coming from the Cygnus supernova gamma radiation, also coming from the Pleiadian, the Arcturian gate systems, and several other systems, of course. But I've been seeing the most integration from the Cygnus system. This is radically shifting the race morphogenetic field of the planet. So everything is connected there to those celestial seedings, and how this is in turn running waves of activations, like I said, through the mother arcing systems, the Sophianic dragon grid. More of this is waking up right now. More of the priestesshood rites are collectively being more initiated at this time as well. And I think CERN has something to do with this, because CERN is producing magnetic fields from their collisions, and it also could be disrupting the magnetic grid of the Earth 100,000 times stronger than the Earth's natural magnetic grid. Okay, I keep sensing the geomagnetic field is shifting, and like I said, it's getting stronger in some places and then weaker in some places. And it's a really actually imbalanced magnetic field grid across the globe. If you could actually go into some ultraviolet radial 4th dimensional grid construct and actually survey the land fields according to the auric spectrum, you would start to see a lot of the degradation of that in the areas of the major cities, in the areas where they're running these particle accelerators, in the areas where they're running their TRONS, their beast machines, all of these things, right? Okay, guys, so this is my CERN supercomputer grid, and everything that I want to talk about today is not charted here. I think it's always like a work in progress. So I've just started to work on this one and I'm presenting everything that has come forward. So I just add more as things continue to reveal itself because CERN has been gaining more attention lately. I don't know if anyone's kind of caught into that, but more nuclear arrows have been pointing back to headquarters. Rumors of the Willy Wonkas taking it back for operations, malevolent and benevolent, are at play. Okay, so I'll I'll go ahead and zoom into CERN while I kind of just talk about it here, really. So everything coming to this point here by Lake Geneva, bordering into France area, and this is the facility here, I do believe. None of my lines kind of point up exactly because I'm kind of all over the place when I'm charting this stuff. But yes, this is CERN here in Switzerland, and they have since turned it back on. Okay, the particle accelerator from July 5th to 2022, it's expected to stay on and run experiments until 2024. So when I was asked the other day, is CERN running right now? The answer is pretty clear to say yes. Yes, CERN is running right now as we speak. They could have conducted X amount of experiments and collided the particle collider who knows how many times by today. And so that is all going on. The word is that military alliance operations have at least taken back over the supercomputer system at CERN. So for those of you that don't know, CERN houses the largest supercomputers in the world, also the largest grid computational systems in the world. And it was in 2012 that the CIA, okay, Central Intelligence Agency, which is the MCP. So I'm going to call it the MCP in this video today, Master Control Program. Essentially, I will be coding my words as much as possible as I move through this as well. So if you don't understand what some of these words are, then maybe I'll put a little key code down in the description as well for a few of them, but you kind of have to just kind of flow with the lingo. Essentially, this program facility has been infiltrated as the Deep, Deep Willy Wonka. They supposedly, then in 2012, they used it to collapse down tunnels to France, to Italy, and Austria. Okay. Which I personally think that they just ritualized the tunnels. So I'm going to tell you about that ritualization. Essentially, these mastermind control programs, okay, these substation groups, what I just told you before, these are groups of basically the four horsemen, right? War, pestilence, cataclysm, apocalyptic, Armageddon type software that they run. Many of them are programs that can be interchanged as they are similar to biowarfare of the mind, spiritual biowarfare programs used on the earth to basically suppress and control human consciousness by propagating artificially generated false timelines. This is what they're doing in the weakened infrastructure of the magnetic field grid, is they're actually running, okay, realities for you. That's what they're doing. It's absolutely insane, absolutely crazy. So that's why everybody's also experiencing so much of a different reality in different locations, is because they can actually just run reality field templating into the blue wave spectrum, also into the dead parts of the grid, because there's actually no auric body there or natural organic spiritual essence to resist the artificial timeline. This is psycho-spiritual warfare strategy used against humanity by the negative aliens through their religions, okay? And it's basically to repeatedly enslave. This comes down through the reincarnation and harvesting stations. Also, basically entrapment, soul entrapment, torturing, war, population control, eugenics, all of these things that I've talked about a million times on my channel, right? The goal is to basically institute global New World Order. Okay, just it's a continual repeat of replaying the NWO. So getting back to that, what I think they're doing is they're actually just ritualizing the tunnels. So they go through processes of having to actually prepare the land for the installation of these beast machines, beast mechanics. They're trons. That's what the particle accelerators are. They're trons. So this is the Gothard tunnel here. This is actually a very big tunnel in Switzerland. Is this one the Gothard? Yeah. Oh, I thought this one was somewhere else actually because I guess it's here. So this is the Gothard tunnel here. This is a railway tunnel through the Alps in Switzerland, and this is the world's longest railway and deepest traffic tunnel. And what they do is they actually inaugurated this tunnel. So how they inaugurated this particular tunnel is they had all kinds of topless women that were dressed as birds, and they performed these rituals similarly to how they perform rituals for harvesting, for preparing disclosure, for preparing global cognitive dissonance consent. And essentially, they used through this inauguration, they had topless women dressed as birds, dressed as construction workers. It was one of these another very rare, bizarre type things. And they say that the construction workers, they kind of replayed them because there were 9 of them who actually died at the building of the Gothard tunnel. So I feel like when I tune into this, I immediately sense this like death ritual sacrifices basically to these Black nobility lineages. And it's all in retaliation to the Yeshua mission. It's kind of like they're making a mockery out of the the Christos missions, the Sophianic missions. So they're basically affiliated with the Metatronic system. They're affiliated with the Trons of AI. That's what they're affiliated with. So I think a lot of this ritualization of these underground tunnels, which is really just kind of creepy in itself, is it not? I think it's more of these Orion groups that are invading these territories for these rituals. They're also doing them in Rome. They're doing them in Jerusalem. Okay, they're doing them in the surrounding countries that are a part of the supercomputer networks. The Germany, Switzerland, France, Greece. And so at this time of 2012, they supposedly sabotaged the nuclear energy forces that took place underneath Lake Geneva, because Lake Geneva is where the MCP headquarters, or one of the headquarters, is located. It's not the only one in the world, of course, we know this, but essentially they took place underneath Lake Geneva. And at that time, supposedly the supercomputers fell back in the hands of the Willy Wonka for their nefarious agendas. Some are believing now, though, that CERN is in the hands of the light. And I've been seeing this great rift or this great split in the timelines of the higher consciousness community that are actually dividing the higher consciousness community, with a lot of uncertainty of these intels. So I think all of this has been orchestrated by Willy Wonka to infiltrate the higher consciousness communities, to divide and conquer with implants, and also with imposter spirits that have come into the community, which are now creating wars in the disclosure communities as we speak. I know you guys have seen a lot of that going on. There's a lot of damaging behavior. And I think it's important to understand that with these control grids that are in place, it's not these people's fault, technically. They're basically running simulations of Agent Smiths to come in and destroy communities because they basically control the artificial times, all the artificial grids, which is what is running in the degraded aspects of the magnetic field grid. Okay. They are bound to know everything that is rolling through these networks because they can easily place these plants. And it's running through the Macs, it's running through the Androids, it's running through the Linuxes, it's running through all of the computer systems and providers that they are recalling and basically sending signal codes and master AI controller timelines to go in and infiltrate and bombard those particular grids. What I've come to find out is they are actually working in cohesiveness with other celestial systems, such as the Aquila Anunnaki systems, also just other facets of the Anunnaki systems, Jehovian Anunnaki systems, Draconic systems, Fallen Dragon templating, also bringing this through the 4-quadrant hybridization societies, so all of the 4 royal celestial radiation templates, such as Regulus, Antares, Regulus, Fomalhaut, and Aldebaran. Okay, and this doesn't come as a surprise to any of us, guys. Aldebaran has been in the mix with the Nazis for a long, long time, and we all knew this, so keep moving. Okay, so I just want to also make something clear about me as we kind of move through this update as well, where I kind of come from in terms of my intel. I just want to make it known that I do not affiliate myself at all with the Galactic Federation. Okay, I am not a part of the Ashtar Command. I'm not a part of the interconglomerations of worlds or the SSP. None of that stuff. I am solely Guardian affiliated, Guardian alliances, Guardian networks, okay, Guardian consciousness, and the direct connection to just the Guardian angelics. Okay, so the Seraphim. Okay, all of this. I consider myself to be a planetary grid reader, Indigo Type 1, and I speak from the perspective from the Hydra and the Pleiadian nations. Okay, so I have universal systems and occult systems that I tune into and work with. I'm also a survivor of the forced breeding programs in the timeline of Mu, and I am an ascended soul. I am a mother. I'm a vision and prophecy holder of the new Earth, and I see the Earth in terms of global grid templating. So this is what I bring to you, is just purely information that I connect into with the divine source. Okay, and so I don't like all of these affiliations, labels, tags. Okay, they're just another way. If you take on those affiliations, you are subjugating yourself to bioweaponization. You're subjugating yourself to tracker tags, scalar wave tags, scalar mechanics. You are subjugating yourselves to false prophets, and also the distorted parts of the crucifixion and persecution, because a lot of these groups are still propagating the savior consciousness in the collective versus installing self what's the word? Self-generation of change and revelation, basically. So yes, that's kind of how I feel about it. And I just wanted to let you guys know that I do feel qualified and quantified to speak on these topics, and that is therefore why I do. Hey guys, so I want to interrupt for just a moment and bring you guys over to my website, indigoangel222.com, and tell you a little bit about what I offer in my shop and in my services. So if you come to the shop tab, if anyone here has been looking for their star seed origins, so their cosmic blueprint, their cosmic identity, where they have came from, their cosmic nations that they work with, I am your girl and I can help you out with that. So I have the Starseed Origin Chart where you get all of the intel and information. You don't get all of the deep dive, all the explanations, all the descriptions, but you can get the chart so you can get started on that. I also offer the Starseed Origin Chart and the in-depth reading here. And this is where you can get more information, and I can design more of kind of a cosmic descendancy of what this looks like for you on a personal level. And then I also have the platinum reading as well that goes into the Akashic records. So we would do Starseed Origin reading and bring forth the Akashic records. You can also download here for 1111 my Swan Grid template PDF that connects to a lot of the readings that I have in my blog. So you would just go to the blog section and you can look up all of the writings that go along with this grid templating. And if you scroll down here, I actually also have a merch shop. So if you see anything that you like, be sure to check out the merch shop. Before you head on over to my services, where if you want to work with me for this first time and you really don't know where to start, the best thing to do would be to book a spiritual consultation. You have to scroll all the way down here for the 1-hour Zoom consultation, but it's kind of a good place if you don't really know where to start. And that way we can have a personal conversation and find out what is best for you on your path, on your journey at this time. Typically, people do start, though, with a 13-dimensional chakra clearing, where we get a much deeper insight into what's going on inside your field and work to clear and collapse any distortions or anything that is basically holding weight and tying your energetic field down from the portion of the core template. So working straight and everything with the core. I also have the J seal removals as well, where you can go in on a universal level and remove seals that are plaguing the collective down to the biology. This is kind of a good place to start to clean up and clear your field from all of this BS and distortions that are functioning here in the grids, here in the matrix, here in the enslavement, here in all of the hijacked and fracked creational realms. Okay, so that's a good place to kind of begin seal removal, J seal removal, go into the DAO seal removal session as well. And then ladies, if you are trying to clear your sacral and kind of take things back all the way back to the original point of the original genocide and remove implants and distortions that may be plaguing your reproductive system, plaguing your sacral field, we do this lovely Lemurian regression implant and tag removal, taking us through the Golden Temple healing, the Womb Temple healing, Stargate repair, all of it. So a lot of detailed work here, a lot of one-on-one work that goes on here. And some of you need it, some of you don't, some of you do it on your own, and that's fine too. But I thought I would just give you guys a little bit of intel of what I have going on here at my website in case you are interested. If you want any one-on-one grid tutoring, I offer the Advanced Avatar Master Practices. This is where we go into one-on-one coaching from everything from the basics of grounding, sealing, and protecting your light body field to working with the flames, all the way to going all the way up to remote viewing and grid keeping and things like this, one-on-one tutoring. That's my Advanced Avatar Master Practices session. And guys, I have so much more. Everything here, all you have to do is just click on the read more and it will tell you all about what everything is and what you can get yourself into if you want to work one-on-one with me. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for listening to this. And hey, this is what keeps me on YouTube. This is what keeps me alive. So if you guys love and support what I do, find a way to support me here on YouTube. And also you can do this at my Patreon, patreon.com. And I offer once a month group grid sessions. And this month, guys, we will be doing a group Lemurian implant and removal session on Patreon. So I will be putting that up and posting that soon. Thank you so much. And back to the show. And so I have come to see, and I think and feel that more needs to be revealed ultimately about the energy mechanics and affiliations of this headquarters here. Okay, this headquarters of CERN. So I can tell you that I am personally leaning on the nefarious hijacked timelines. I've actually kind of heard those words that the timelines were going back into a state of being hijacked. That's kind of what's been revealing itself to me. So I want to explain to you what I see is going down. Deeper layers of the veil are continually being removed as we expand in consciousness. Okay, as more people shed more layers of programmed grid dysphoria. Okay, programmed grid fog. Okay, programmed grid, dead grids, brain scrambling from the Atlantic grids, all of these things, the mutations from the Atlantic grids. Okay, a lot of us are just literally cracking out of the shell time and time again, getting more and more revealed to us in terms of truth, something that especially with these grid computational technologies, the way that they're able to control the realities right now. Okay, CERN has everything to do with this. CERN has everything to do with artificial cosmic authority over the direction of this grid containment. Okay, so I'm going to dive into this now at a much deeper level, kind of going into the Stargates themselves. So when I say man-made Stargates such as CERN, okay, so here we have CERN. We also have other man-made Stargates all in this particular area that are the most potent and the most powerful man-made Stargates that we have on this Earth, actually starting with Stonehenge. Stonehenge is a man-made Stargate. And it contains a Nephilim control grid up underneath it. Okay, so many feet underneath the ground. We also have CERN, okay, that keeps a particle collider so many feet underneath the ground. We have Vatican City, which is a man-made Stargate, all kinds of stuff going on there. Don't even need to explain. And then we also have the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, which is also another man-made Stargate. We also have the Kaaba in Saudi Arabia. I don't know if I labeled it. No, I didn't. That's another man-made Stargate that we have all within the trajectory of this. Actually, let me go ahead and put the Kaaba on here real quick because I just want to see where it's at in relativity to the other ones. So let me just scroll out here. Ooh, okay, that one's kind of taken a turn. I don't feel that this one's probably riding off of this ley line completely here, but essentially, man-made stargates, they just mean that they are unnatural to the Earth organic field. The internal energetic components of it, the infrastructure of it is inorganic, and they serve an inorganic timeline, a hijacked timeline. And on a deeper level, most of them are connected to reversals and black magic grids. And most of these stargates do not contain aspects of the planetary auric body. Okay, so it's not like you can go in and energetically access them and you're going to see anything connecting you into the holographic divine blueprint or the creational fields that will pull you into that. They're also not created from the sun diamond filaments and architecture either. And most of them are aligned to Saturn in one way or another through rituals, abduction, or spiritual technology. All of the man-made gate systems, okay, so here, now, and I don't want to include Stonehenge in all of this because there's more natural, I think, organic components to this one here. But these ones, not as much. Okay, all of these ones down here. It's not these light blue ones. These light blue ones here are something else I'm going to tell you about. But all of the man-made stargates are this purple, dark blue color here and the white here. This is the headquarters. It just doesn't let me click on it, but they are the dark blue color. Okay, so these were created by man to run similar power as a Stargate through second systems, second density Earth powering fields to power similarly to basically copying the organic electromagnetic vortexes, replicating original particles through organic systems, creating artificial fields, creating artificial timelines, creating artificial dimensions, controller arm fields, reversal fields, connecting to other man-made stargates, replicating aspects of the same nature, all of which I feel come back to power the beast machines and the trons of the Earth. The trons are the machines developing artificial intelligence, and I am going to get into the trons more in this cosmic grid update. But in most cases, they are powered off the organic systems. Okay, so they are feeding off the organic systems to a high degree, which I want to show you what I've been seeing here with all of this, because this is really, really interesting. And I think this is going to blow your mind when it comes to CERN. Does anybody here know what this is? Okay. What this ley line is right here? This is the Archangel Michael ley line, and this is really, really, really important to what they're doing here. Okay, I just want to say that real quick before we go into what CERN is. So all of these points here create the Archangel Michael ley line. We have the Great Skellig in Ireland. This also comes down to the St. Michael's Mount in the UK, down to the Mount St. Michael Mount in France, the Mount St. Angelo in Italy, Delphi, Delos, and then it comes down to Mount Carmel in Jerusalem, which is actually a volcano. And they say that the Archangel Michael ley line is actually powered and charged by the Mount Carmel volcano from Israel. And it's the force that's called the Dance of the Dragon. So it intersects with the pillar energy of the Earth. Basically, everything from the tip of Ireland all the way over to Jerusalem is the central column of the Earth. So it's a very large degree spectrum, but this is basically running the pillar energy of the Earth. Okay, it's running the Albion spine energy through the United Kingdom, and it's the spinal dragon force of the Earth. So Basically, I feel that the Archangel Michael ley line is a link into the Mother Arcane systems. It's a link into the Sophianic Dragon light grid templating, and it is carrying more feminine energy of the dragon. And this may be why CERN decided to go ahead and drop its facility right at the center of the Archangel Michael ley line. Okay, this is the actual ley line connection point. That is driving me insane. Where is that thing? Bye. Okay. It is right here. Okay. Let me put that in perspective for you. CERN is right here. Okay. This is the dragon spinal dance of the earth, natural cosmic energy, natural organic ley line, where all these beautiful temples and mounts and Archangel Michael energy exist. And here's CERN, okay, tapping off of its resources. They decided to go ahead and drop its facility right at the center point of the Archangel Michael ley line. Okay. Then if you follow this is what blows my mind. This is what I've been trying to get out. I think this whole grid update is probably just this alone. But you know me, I circle around on all these different multi-dimensional planes and can't get to the point. This is Stonehenge. Now this is really interesting. So if you follow Stonehenge down to CERN, crosses over it at the Vatican, continues to keep that crossed over placement, taking it down to the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. These man-made stargates intersect the Archangel Michael ley line. That's really important. That's fundamental. They're basically distorting the magnetic field right at the center point of the primal blue ray. And I think they are using it to tap into the organic structures to coerce, covert, disrupt, distort, and continue to weaken the magnetic field and draw from the power of that energy to power their own systems for their Metatronic free will abuse systems. So CERN is the European Organization for Nuclear Research. Okay, this is the real fundamentalism and foundation for which this organization exists. And underneath that, they specialize in anything ordered up from the substations of the 100 groups of MCP facilities, Master Control Program facilities, running the Willy Wonka systems on this earth. They specialize in all things nuclear experimentation and advancement, nuclear technology that creates nuclear weapons, nuclear power, nuclear intelligence. I wouldn't doubt it if all nuclear weapons development sciences didn't start from something like a CERN facility in the first place since prior to World War II, since prior to Atlantis. Okay, I do think, and I am saying that I think that CERN has been a technology that they've used since Atlantis. Okay, I do not think that CERN was originally founded in 1954. That was a cover story. That was a re-announcement. That was an inauguration to a continuation. Okay. I think CERN's technology goes all the way back to Atlantis and may have once existed at every single man-made Stargate that we see today. Okay. There may have once been a CERN underneath Stonehenge. There may have once been a CERN underneath Vatican City. There may have once been a CERN underneath the Temple Mount. There may have once been a CERN underneath the Kaaba in Saudi Arabia, the Eye of Sahara in Mauritania. CERN may have once existed right here where 7 million Muslims feel called to rotate anti-clockwise around a giant black cube, okay? Because what they may have done to the land under the ground was adjust it by a particle accelerator and nuclear particles and implement nuclear intelligent forms of artificial intelligence in the land, locking it into a particular cycle or a behavioral pattern, installing wormholes, installing black holes directly into black hole matter, antimatter, into our perceived great altars of the world. So these are perceived great altars of the world, are they not? They are running what I feel are wormholes and black holes, and also greater functionality and mechanics down into the Atlantean beast machines inside the inner Earth. Okay. And encoding artificial portal passages from previous timelines at these man-made sites, making them hyper-artificial vortexes hypercharged with distorted magnetic fields at these sites, with open passageways into the beast machines and the Gravitron and the Metatron, okay, the Trons, which are feeding a part of the altered planetary tilt in place. That 23.5-degree angle and tilt is not natural to our planet, okay? I think this has come through magnetic field manipulation technologies that are going all the way back to the Draco systems, really. I mean, they're the ones that have been tapping and altering the planetary magnetic field and the staff of the Earth. It's also due to the fact that a lot of these groups, okay, all of these groups that control literature, that control indigenous artifacts, that control Tesla technology, okay, these groups they've attained and seized all of the Nikola Tesla work. CERN has this. And the Third and Fourth Reich have been under operatives to protect the development of CERN, maintain the previous secret facilities prior to its final landing in Switzerland. Okay, and the French Rothschilds elite families have been a part of this. They have been helping create the Willy Wonkas with the descendants of the Jesuit army and Napoleon's bloodline that stole technology from the United States military in the 1900s. So this is an ever-going international, global Black Nobility League warfare. They are the head of the CIA, the pinnacles of this organization. The true CIA headquarters is actually underneath Lake Geneva. CERN is the birth of the World Wide Web, the birth of the supercomputers, the largest supercomputers, the supercomputer national global networks, and grid computation, grid control, grid hacking, and building and designing infrastructure. A new global infrastructure. What you see here from this point to all of these lines, okay, all of these lines here that are connecting supercomputer facilities, okay, all of these are supercomputer facilities in these other countries. Essentially, what they're building is similar to how when the first railway systems were installed across Western civilization. It was a pioneering move, a grid hacker move, because now suddenly we have network. Okay, we have better ways to move things, better ways to send things, better ways to power things. And this is what the obsession and the new craze obsession of the immediate cyber technocratic, ethereal, metaversal, metatronic drive of the existence of man is really about. New Future is building computerized infrastructure, computational grids. Okay, artificial grids, grids that can turn on and off, grids that can be surveillanced, grids that can be quarantined, grids that can alter reality in containers, bubbles, spheres, and living nuclear electromagnetic directioning by killing the voice of the land and nature and overriding the pillars. Okay, so I feel like I'm a bearer of bad news is what I feel like, to be honest. It's not necessarily bad news. I don't want you to look at any of this way. This is just the reality of what's going on, you know, and sure, we can look away and we can just say that everything's fine and let our world go on as it is. And you know what? Maybe these things won't affect your reality, but I guarantee you somewhere or another deep down and underneath all of the denial, it's affecting your world in some way. CERN portrays a mask of the safety religion of science and healthy global particle exploration. I mean, look at their website, guys. Okay, look at the website. Does this not look like a happy website? Does this not look like we're a positive place and we do positive things and we are all about human growth and humanity and all of these things? I mean, their website could really have one fooled because it's very fluffy. It's very light. It makes one feel like they are all pioneering something righteous to mankind. And Honestly, I feel like it's a Deceptitron. This is a Deceptitron. Okay, it's governed by the military operations of Willy Wonka. It's funded by these operations of Willy Wonka, the Yellow Brick Road. What you're looking at here is the biggest international mad scientist effort technologies from Atlantis, from the Aryan systems, ever publicly founded and conducted, the European data grid. Okay, this is the European data grid. Okay, all of these pink ones here connecting through the red ley lines of advanced intelligence networks. This would be the world leader. And it doesn't just connect here. Okay, it's connecting over here as well. So I'm going to explain this stuff over here and why I say this the way I say it, right? Because people go like, oh, you could look at this technology for good or technology could be for bad and we can just accept technology on this higher timeline. Here's my response to this. These are science boys that are playing with toys. Okay? They are wreaking havoc on the Earth's magnetic field. CERN is producing magnetic fields from these collisions, 100,000 times stronger than the Earth's natural magnetic field. These magnetic fields extend through our planet, through the magnetosphere, through ripples and waves, okay, causing major interruptions to our shields. Our magnetosphere is what protects us from gamma rays. It's what protects us from the particles from the sun, from the cosmos. Okay, we actually need our magnetosphere. Things like this are damaging it. So I can't sit here and just say that the development of technological sciences and pushing us to the brink of our own existence is necessarily a good thing. It pulls us away from our organic existence, our tribalism, our community, our indigenous, our ethics, our integrity, our morality, because of the desire of always wanting more, better, faster now. And they're doing all of this with the largest particle physics laboratory in the world, the head global organization for nuclear research and development, the head organized group coming with the energetic nuclear imprints of Shiva. You guys know that they have a big Shiva statue out front of CERN or in the back of CERN, that this was given to them by the Indian government, I believe is who gave it to them. Okay, one of their supercomputer affiliates. And they also have a CERN statue in their meeting rooms. Okay, so their rooms that they do all of their meetings, they have Shiva statues in there as well. Okay. So Shiva the Destroyer. Shiva, I think ultimately Shiva is connected to nuclear research. I think energetically, spiritually speaking, Shiva follows nuclear currents. And I think that's one reasons why the Shiva submarine nuclear facility down in Georgia is connected in one way or another, I think, to the connection of what happened at the Georgia Guidestones following the nuclear atomic energy. All of this comes back to the cookie crumbs of nuclear radiation. I think that Shiva is representative of that. When we start seeing a lot of Shiva symbolism, we start looking at destroying things to create things. Okay, that is the way that Shiva creates. He destroys to create through impeccable self-discipline and impeccable self-reservation and self-principle. But it is the energy of destruction. You guys have seen this. So this is CERN here in Switzerland in the middle. The main supercomputer that creates this grid computing infrastructure to all of the supercomputers of the world: Germany, UK, Italy, US, Canada, Netherlands, France, Spain, Taiwan, the US. And then from there, it expands into a much larger grid computing infrastructure network as well. And that's exactly what I'm showing you guys on my Scribbles maps by all of the surrounding countries connected through the ley lines to the supercomputer network of CERN. So you can see how extensive this is, right? This is very extensive. This is what creates the metaverse. This is what creates the cloud. And soul uploading, soul mapping into the cloud. I mean, Elon Musk has already done it. He's already uploaded himself into the metaverse. Is this where we're going as an organic species of this earth? I just ask you to question that when you're looking at the timelines of CERN. Bring yourself back to the land. Bring yourself back to what grounds you. Bring yourself what actually makes you happy. Bring yourself back to spirit. Bring yourself back to your connection to the earth, right? When you look at that, these things just don't line up. When you look at your cell phone, these things line up. One thing about this is this ley line right here. So this ley line here that's running from CERN to the Vatican, the CERN Stargate Vatican link, this green ley line right here. I'm picking up transmissions that are very, very hot. Okay, this is a artificial ley line that's running from CERN to the Vatican. It's running into fifth dimensional reversals from the artificial site, from the artificial Stargate sites. They are grid computationally monitored and controlled by artificial intelligence. These are signal coded from transmissions of grid control sequencing from the ley line. This is where they are advancing grid computation, which is computational infrastructure. They have full power over areas of the grids that are already degraded because of the magnetic field weakening. Like I said, pollution, radiation, exposure, radiation sites. They know how they can build into these dimensionless parts and create wormhole systems with the collaboration technologies of metacomputing, with the accompanying geographically distribution of supercomputers. This is the new future, guys. All of the pioneers are trying to reclaim the re-evolution of grid control. This is like watching TRONS battle it out over railway infrastructures. Okay, it's like the next pioneer move. It's underway by the DoD, by the NASA, the DOE, the NSF. All of them are pioneering and infrastructure in creating or laying the infrastructures of this right now. It's like the new railway systems, building development for grid hacking infrastructure. And it's all coming from the apex of the Central Intelligence Agency of the world, having technologies, guys. CERN has technologies of the Roswell crash, Tesla classified, UFO technology, Pegasus project, Montauk project, Phoenix project, Area 51, Area 52. Okay, another aspect of this is the telluric currents, or earth currents that are generated because of the geomagnetic field. So the geomagnetic field creates currents that are conducted back to the surface of the earth and then back to the mantle, and they induce gravimetric waves. This is natural and organic. Gravimetric waves are gravity waves. It's a physical wave that travel along the crust through the mantle of the earth. They are also audible. They also make sound. What CERN is actually doing is they're breaking the organic currents of that sound and infiltrating the inner magnetosphere to respond to cataclysmic and apocalyptic sound fields. That's what those accelerator particle implosions are. They are apocalyptic sound fields. Also, what I've been seeing more psychically here with this is the words have consistently been that nuclear intelligence is artificial intelligence. So I know I said this on the other updates that I did, and you can call me crazy or whatever you want to think. Okay, because I feel like I've been getting a lot of people being like, you're just taking it too far. And maybe I am just throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. Or maybe I'm right. Okay, I feel like I am right. I feel like nuclear intelligence has developed into artificial intelligence, that our exploration of this, that our studies of this, that in some way or another, that they are hand in hand with each other. And I think it's from using the trons to build it. The Metatrons, the Tevitrons, the CycloTRONs, the synchronotrons, the Gravitrons, all aspects of the beast machines controlling this earth. The trons are a part to their machines. Okay, so it's like the beast machine is not just one machine, it's multiple machines building the beast. Okay, I think that all of the trons are a part of this. So let me tell you a little bit about the trons then. I'm going to go to this here. So this is on Wikipedia page, Tevitron. Tevitron was a circular particle accelerator active until 2011 in the United States at the Fermi National Accelerator Laboratory. also known as the Fermi Lab, east of Batavia, Illinois. It's the second highest energy particle collider ever built after the Large Hadron Collider of the European Organization for Nuclear Research, CERN. So I'm going to actually zoom into this. You guys can see what it looks like. I didn't even know that there was other ones of these until I started diving in, of course. And I'm going, holy moly. How many of these do we actually have on the Earth in total? Going all the way in here. You can start to see it in the ground there. Okay, this is the Fermi Lab. This is the second largest Hadron Collider particle accelerator facility in Illinois. Like I said, CERN is not the only one. So these are the Tron machines. This is the Tevitron. They are extensions of the beast machines all over the Earth, and they work with the synchronotrons. They also work with the cyclotrons to power and function their machines. These ones are currently turned off, this one here specifically, but they are planning to turn this one back on in the future. And have you guys ever seen the movie called Tron Legacy? I guess this was made in 2010. I think there is an older version of this video. It's basically where a guy is transported into virtual reality grid, and I think they have to stop this malevolent like AI program from invading the real world. Well, this is kind of like what that is, okay? They're looking to build more of these. I have heard that there are more plans to build larger particle accelerators other than CERN. So they're going to keep on expanding with this technology, you guys. These are all Metatronic Tron technologies, all Trons for MCP master control programs. They do not want to experience what they call an AI winter, artificial intelligence winter. It's where AI lacks in funding or lacks in development in any way. They're trying to prevent this, okay? And they're trying to install Metatron consciousness. This is where there have been an abuse and excessive misuse of free will in the planet, and it opposes the divine plan. What this is propagating is Metatron consciousness, and this is where there has been an abuse and excessive misuse of free will in the planet, and it opposes the divine plan, which in turn begins to jeopardize the eternal life expression. It means to digress from the perfected human blueprint and 12 tree grid, leading to global fallen consciousness that is running 11th dimensional reversal artificial codes to and from organic universal stargates and powering the man-made stargates. All of this timeline-wise, I do feel is connected to Babylon. Also like the wormholes in Iraq, Iran, Babylon, these are all like hot timelines that are replaying in the Earth's Akashic field. The Jerusalem gate system for the Lion's Gate, the Golden Gate system in Jerusalem, they're all actually interconnected through coordinates and passageways. All more of this is clearing more. But because of this, this is why I feel that CERN is the artificial intelligence stargate of the world. CERN may be the direct portal to artificial intelligence worlds. CERN is like a puncture wound in the flower of life. Okay, that puncture wound in the flower of life, that is the Metatronic system. Okay, the old flower of life is the old Metatronic system. CERN is that. CERN is the AI stargate of the world. CERN is the reason why this technology exists. They are the birthplace of the World Wide Web, a portal into the infinite mind of computing, grid computing, hacking, and rehacking matrix technology as many times as needed to ground their controlling infrastructure. Okay, more to this. So the AI Stargate is running a 3-point operation from US to China to Switzerland. Okay, so I'm going to go into another grid to show you the fallen dragon grid concept. I've worked on this grid many times in the past. Yes, okay guys, so I found it. This is the fallen dragon grid. This is also the artificial intelligence grid. I've done a lot of work on this. I will leave the links in the descriptions down below. To other videos that I've done defining and explaining this, which I think is really fundamental and important to everything that is running with the CERN Stargate. But I think that This is basically the dragon. You have the head in China with multiple points, Hong Kong, Shanghai, Tokyo. These are all areas that are the head of the dragon. So it's a multi-pointed, faceted head that connects into the spine, the Albion networks, the central vertical column of the earth that connects into the tail end of the dragon. That connects into the tail end of the dragon. And I think CERN, okay, which is down here a little bit more. It's making me click on that, which is the World Death Organization. But if you come down here, CERN is a little bit down here. All of this is running off that central Albion spinal dragon energy that's funneling this network from Silicon Valley to Shanghai to China, running through and using the Archangel Michael ley line and the energy from the fallen dragon grids, the Albion spine, the dragon force of the planet. So I just wanted to show you this grid so that way you can see that there's greater network systems that they tap into resource-wise. And bring it back here to CERN. So there's this greater system that they're tapping into. Also, there's that conundrum going on over here. There's also connections down here to the wormhole areas, right? And then also to this triangulation system here. So coming back over to the United States, what I've come to notate is here we have this Tron. We have a Tron here, and then we have the Grid Computational Alliance in the United States that are controlling the alliances. So all of these locations are universities that are a part of the interconnected facilities that would be running grid computational alliances. I feel these facilities are interconnected to the TRONS as well. So this is another network that I think is dialing straight into CERN. I didn't draw any ley lines that were connecting these to CERN, but I mean, I could, because this is like sub facility networks that are powering in the US. Okay. And it's just absolutely crazy how technologically advanced all this is really growing to. I think that they are saturating the grids in nuclear radiation and opening up wormholes within radiation pockets. And I think that's ultimately what happened at the Georgia Guidestones. It was a hit from CERN. It contained a nuclear pull down in the lunar shaft at the bottom of the stones. And I think that they can target areas that have these nuclear radiation pulls, and they can open up wormholes inside them. I think this is why Russia has invaded to move into nuclear areas of waging war in Ukraine into nuclear sites, is because they can use those to tear open more experimentation and wormholes there in those places. So I think nuclear sites overall have become targets for astral siphoning, harvesting souls, collecting souls in the rips in space-time continuum, and that a lot of these sites are also opening up as trap sites. And so I think that's kind of what's playing out with these sites. Another thing I think we need to look at indefinitely and not kind of like take our eyes off of is Switzerland in general. Okay. I think we need to point out Switzerland, the country as a whole. It was one of the few countries that was not invaded during World War II, yet in the middle of all of it somehow, there is a major secretive operative global agreements over the financial and international capital through the World Economic Forum, and the big farming friends is where the money is kept, the Swiss cheese, the Swiss cheddar, the banking international settlements. And it's just so interesting that the Pope, okay, and why I tell you this ley line is AI hot is because think about the Pope, right? The Pope has all this stuff going on. The Vatican is getting all kinds of clearing right now because of this energy. The Pope has Swiss Army Guards, the minor armed force required for the Holy See, which is considered one of the oldest military units in continuous operations to this day. What was anointed the Swiss Army Guards to be the Pope's musketeers. So yeah, it's a lot, guys. It's a lot, but I mean, it's intense. It's intense, but the magnetic field is intense right now. And so this intensity is leading us to the deep dive of this information. So let me just go ahead and recap this for you. CERN is basically an old technology and a new vehicle. Okay. It's in a new location. each location that it has once been anchored into the Earth field, they were able to open up either rips and tears in the space-time continuums, or they were able to wormhole directly into that, what we perceive as the great altars of the world. Why do you think the Mandela effect is such a big issue? Okay, it's because of the field manipulation. Okay, this is also not over. They're building more trons. Okay, we have old trons. CERN is a neutron. And we're going to have more trons that are going to come forward as aspects of the beast machine that they then in turn feed on the unnatural field tilt of the Earth and all of the natural gate systems and all of the natural ley lines. I guarantee you, if you were to remove CERN, remove the Vatican, remove the Temple Mount from the Archangel Michael ley line, we would see all of the warfare in the world completely clear up. Okay, them ripping these black holes, wormholes, and black matter is not new technology. This is repeat from Atlantean technology and is stored in the Hall of Records. My guess is that they are doing it to manipulate more of the race morphogenetic field, but I really don't think that they've mastered this completely. It's all in experimentation. And I think that in Atlantis, they already ripped open a black hole system running from the Atlantic Ocean. And that's what those wormhole connections were there in the Atlantic Ocean. They were the Phoenix wormholes at the Bermuda Triangle, the wormholes at the Statue of Liberty, and then the wormholes that went down to Azores, Portugal. And somebody corrected me last time and said that it's Azores, Portugal, but then I went back and looked. It's actually Azores, Spain. So there's two locations. Azores, Spain is the third wormhole location, which all these connection points are running actually down into the US from the Devil's Tower and the Washington's DC obelisk. So this is the Atlantic 666 wormhole. And the wormhole in Iraq is the Tower of Babel wormhole. So these, I think that was the second point, that the accelerator particle collision happened was in ancient Babylon. Okay, and that's why the wormhole in Iraq exists. And it was from the Sumerian invasion. It was where they hijacked the royal bloodlines. This was the time where the Stargates in Egypt were erasing groups of collected human memory in the astral fields. I feel this was one of the original human enslavement matrices that was installed, the infrastructure that was installed. Okay, they have to install the infrastructure to implement the enforcement of the enslavement. That's what I feel like we're watching play out with the technology of CERN right now. They're repeating that enforcement. The massacre in Babylon, the invasion was so bad and big that it literally temporarily collapsed down the planetary magnetic field at that time completely. Okay, this is what's repeating. Sorry, and I'm losing my voice from talking so much today. It's absolutely insane. I'm so sorry, you guys. My voice only holds out for so long. Yeah, the Sumerian Egyptian invasion, and I will leave a link to this also in the description. 5,500 year ago, rip in 5D wormhole into Saqqara, Egypt. This is where they rewrote human history from 5,500 years at time of invasion with earliest written records of the Sumerian tablets. They promoted the Anunnaki as creator gods of humanity, patriarchal domination and enslavement agenda for Earth humans, final setback, no communication with crystal races with genetic manipulation, and installed the frequency fences. So, yeah. People's main questions are probably at this point, they are, what do we do about it? How do we fix it? How do we solve it? How do we make things better? All of these things. And I would say at this point, it's all about regaining our connection back with the land. Like, we have to come to this realization that these things matter. We have to come to the realization that our organic existence matters. Okay, it can't be this half in, half out type of ideology that I think we all carry. I think we have to decide what we want as a human species and a human race, and we have to get on the same page with salvaging the organic systems. If the development of technology and the pioneering of infrastructure for the enslavement of the new matrices is the priority of humanity, then that is what we are going to get. I think it's very actually black and white. I think it's very either it is or it isn't. And we can all live in those grayscales in between, but until the world cares about the land and cares about the earth and cares about the degradation of the magnetic field, I think that these agendas to a huge degree are always going to continue to be in the nefarious timelines, because we're not actually listening to the spirit of the earth and our own spirit at the end of the day. So how do we make these things better? I think it is to ultimately connect more into the earth and also support the groups that are already fighting for these things. Okay, many groups in Canada, many indigenous, many natives, many tribes. Okay, the tribes of the world have to come together and they have to embrace what's playing out on the battlefield of the 3D. We cannot necessarily negate from going into warfare, whether that's technologically, spiritual, emotional, mental, whatever it is. We have to stand our ground and actually come in as warriors and speak and defend and fight for injustices. Okay. We can just sit here and go, okay, everything's going to work itself out on the higher timeline, which is true. New Earth is already here. New Earth is already being prepared for those that are ready to step into that cosmic space and that cosmic mysnos and that cosmic alignment, that cosmic Christos alignment, and enter into the new earth fields. It is there. It's already available. Okay. But not everybody's going. Not everybody is going. Okay. It's selected, chosen that are going. And so I think it's really just deciding about where you kind of stand and what do you support, you know? There is no one answer for this. I think that us grid keepers and gatekeepers, we're the ones doing the spiritual work. We're the ones working on the grids. We're the ones tampering and evolving the manifestation fields of the light templating, but there's also a shadow templating that is running on this earth. Okay. And so we have to just get smarter about what that actually entails and what that actually looks like. This is just my own personal take on it. We have to keep spreading information so that way others can learn the reality of all of this. Okay. And so that's kind of my take on it today. And thank you all so much for watching. I will be back probably with more recapped intel and information on this. And again, like I said, doing a CERN remote view on it. And just know that I love you all so much. And I will be back with another video.